let's check in with Quincy City Council President and Councilor at Large Noel DeBona for an update on the latest council meeting. Hi, Noel.
Good morning, Joe. How you doing?
Oh, doing okay on this snowy last day of January.
I know, a little, big snowflakes out there this morning.
If this is all we have to deal with, it'll be fine. We'll see what the rest of the winter brings.
We'll take it.
Exactly. So you had a couple of weeks off and you were back at it last night, right?
Yes, and it was a very light agenda, obviously. Just coming back after the new year as well, being our second meeting of the year. We started off with some MSBA reimbursements, possibly. We $150,000 for, we'll get reimbursed for some design and engineering for a couple of our schools, Montclair, Parker, and Wollaston schools. So that was approved last night. And then obviously we got to get these bids in and everything else and the designing before we get into the summer, obviously. So we got to get into the process of that. That was finalized and voted on to move that. We also had the broadband municipal, which Councilor Ian Kane, been working on for 5 years now. So it'll be put into an enterprise fund, and we allowed that to happen last night. It'll go into committee as well as finance. So those two items were moved. And then the community liaison for the inclusion position up at the mayor's that the mayor had suggested to have happen. $75,000 position, 75,288 is the exact number. Councilor Mahoney and Councilor Yang put those forward just to put them in committee and get, to see what the mayor has done with that particular position. So there was a little bit of discussion last night. Councilor Kane obviously is part of the committee that the mayor has established. He's the chair and he's one of our councilors. So there was a little deliberation amongst the three of them on the community liaison. Was quoted in the paper that wasn't a lot of huge interest in it, and that's why it hasn't been filled yet. And this is only what I read in the newspaper. So I haven't talked directly with the mayor, but that was what was transpired last night. Just to get an update and see how that's going is what the resolve was to do. It was a 7-0 vote, which allowed it to move forward.
Okay. On the enterprise fund, Noel, where would those funds come from?
It's a really good question, and I haven't really dissected that too much, and that's why it's going into committee. It was a very broad order. Didn't say much in it, didn't have a lot of teeth to it. So obviously we're gonna put it in, try to establish an enterprise fund. I don't know exactly how that's going to transpire, to be honest with you, Joe. It wasn't particularly my item that I've been working on for the last 5 years, like Councilor Kane has. I think things have maybe altered and changed over the years. Obviously, we want to bring broadband into Quincy to compete with, obviously, Comcast, which is kind of almost monopolized everything in the city. Make it affordable, have options, and then obviously have possible broadband. The options of that. I know a lot of folks have talked about whether their bills are so high. There's also other avenues of not maybe using the internet with broadband, but also using the cable, getting, access like YouTube TV does things, and Hulu and all these other, other vendors out there that do cable services out there. And people have altered over that just because of it's a lot less expensive. And they've been adding like the Netflix and all these other things. I mean, the new TVs nowadays, it's a smart TV. So it allows you to pull up all these different apps on there. Technology's really taken over. And a lot of some of the older folks, the senior citizens, are still staying on the, obviously the Comcast. But you at QATV do a lot of stuff with YouTube, and you do a lot of live streaming, and folks have been able to go right onto their, their telephones, their little cell phones and iPhones, and be able to watch these videos and stuff like we're doing right now. So it changed the whole game, and folks, I know it's been a patient process, but there's other options out there now. The YouTube TVs, the Hulus, people have been adding on the Netflix and Disney TV and all these other avenues of using what they want to watch. So they just they individualize on what you want to watch for videos or what you want to watch for TV shows. And, you know, a lot of times you can have it downloaded where you can watch it from the beginning and not with the commercials, and you can fast forward them. And there's a whole bunch of options now. I hope folks are using these other alternate avenues until we get the broadband and the entire municipal, competition amongst all the other things. So that's just a recommendation, you know.
Yeah. Did Councilor Kane indicate how long that might take?
He has not. And I think there wasn't a lot of discussion. It went straight into for a vote and into committee.
Okay.
So we'll bring it out. I would assume this will be brought out before the summer break. I know that sounds like a long time, but tomorrow's February 1st, and and it's a short month. It's only 28 days, so there'll be 2 meetings in February. Then we'll get into March, April, then we get into the budget. I would predict that this enterprise fund, hopefully, and for Councilor Kane's benefit, is to have some type of get it set up and established, and have a little bit more vetted amongst the councilors as well. So I'm hoping that moves. You know, a lot of folks have been asking about that over the years, and we're at the next step of moving it into the next category, I guess you can call it.
All right, good. We'll wait and see on that. And when is the next council meeting, Noel?
Next is February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. And also the Ward 4 seat, it will be February 7th. It's a Tuesday. I'm looking at the calendar. Somebody will win, most likely, unless it's a recount. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But supposedly they'll be sworn in that Friday, February 10th. They'll be at the council meeting on February 13th. Hopefully we'll have 9 council members in the chambers for the next meeting. That's if everything goes smooth, Joe. And anything can happen. You know that in Quincy.
Especially when it comes to politics.
Hopefully that happens. That's right, exactly. Any type of elections, you just never know what's going to happen. So if it goes the right way, February 7th will be the election. February 10th, which is a Friday, they'll be verified, I guess I can call it. They'll verify the votes. And then on Monday, I'm assuming they'll be sworn in and be at the meeting that night, because it gets sworn in during the day if they want to. And that night they could be at the council meeting. So that'll be a plus. I'm assuming that the 99-year lease at the Granite Links will be on the most likely will be on the agenda. I can't speak for Councilor and Chairperson McCarthy for that, but I was told that there'll possibly be some public input as well. So all these agenda items, I know a lot of folks out there were talking about, well, we don't have any representation for Ward 4, this is in Ward 4. Well, this was put into committee while we had a Ward 4 Councilor Palmucci at the time. So once it goes into committee, it's up to the chair. I've always had that as a presidency. It goes to the chair. The chair makes the decision on doing any more community meetings, and Councilor McCarthy has done a few, and it goes with committee chair. That's why we have committees. So I'm a big proponent of keeping in those committees and letting finance with Chuck Phelan and Dave McCarthy out of ordinance. Obviously pull those items out and make votes on them and have neighborhood discussions about them. So I've been very big on that from day one of being a counselor. Goes back some years now. So I'm pretty sure that Councilor McCarthy will be moving that out for a vote.
All right. Anything else we should let folks know about right now, Noel?
Just stay safe on the roads and the sidewalks. If you're walking, obviously it is now 8:20, and give it a little bit of time for the city workers to get out there and do some of the cleanup of this little dusting storm that happened this morning. I wasn't, was it on the forecast, Joe? Because I didn't see it coming. And this morning I opened up the windows at 6:30 and said, wow, look, this snow.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a sneaky surprise attack.
Yeah, it was a surprise attack this morning. So hopefully some of the roads are treated pretty well, and give it a couple hours for the folks to get into work and to get into where they need to go this morning.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this time last year, we had a blizzard of over 2 feet, so it's not too bad.
So true, Joe. So true.
Thanks so much, Noel.
Thank you so much, Joe. You have a great day.
Thank you. You too.